Welcome. This is the Cisco CCNA ENSA, also known as the Enterprise Networking Security and Automation course. This course focuses on the CCNA version 7 curriculum. This is course 3 of 3. Module 5, ACLs for IPv4 configuration. We're going to be talking about configuring a standard ACL and an extended ACL, how to modify our ACLs, and we're going to go ahead and talk about how to secure our line console, our VTY ports, with a standard ACL. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, configuring a standard IPv4 ACL. So to create a IPv4 ACL, first thing you want to do, you probably want to use a text editor, write out what you're wanting to do. Add the appropriate iOS configuration commands to accomplish the tasks, include the appropriate remarks, and then test and implement those ACL or ACEs to make up that ACL. Always thoroughly test the ACL before we apply it into a live environment, because ACLs take effect immediately and we can do some serious damage if we apply them and we didn't mean to. So what is the syntax? Well, first of all, from a global configuration point, you type in access list space a number. Again, if it's a standard, it's going to be between the numbers 1 and 99. If it's extended, it will be between 100 and 199. Next is the action. Are we going to do a permit or deny? Or are we doing a remark? Again, our remark is the way that we comment these. Next, because this is a standard, we only have to have a source location or a source address. So we'll have a source and a source wildcard. Also, it's optional, but we can also log this as well. Now, to remove this access entry, we could do a no access list and then the appropriate number, and that will remove that numbered ACL from the configuration. If we are talking a named ACL, what we would do is IP access list standard, because we're doing a standard type of ACL, and then give it the name. So again, if we're doing extended, we do IP access list extended and then the appropriate name. You'll notice it puts us into a different sub command. From there, we could issue our statements as well as our sequence numbers. Our sequence numbers are a way to actually align what our ACL is doing. Again, the order does matter, so if we need to modify the ACL, we can actually manipulate those sequence numbers to reorder the structure of an ACL. So how do we apply a ACL? Well, first of all, we're going to be doing an IP access group. You assign it the appropriate either name or number, and then you do a either in or out. Again, this is going to be done on an interface. So if you want to apply this access list as it enters ingress of the interface, you do it in. If you want to apply this as it leaves the interface, it would be an egress. You'd be doing it, applying it as it leaves or it goes out the interface. And again, we have our labs verifying that we know how to do this. So here's an example of a access list. You'll notice that it actually goes a number, provides like the number 10, for example, or the number 20. These are the sequence numbers. This allows us to rank our sequence, and it goes first to last, the order that we input them. If we don't input a sequence number, it does it for us. Normally they're hidden. However, if we need to modify a ACE or an ACL with a new ACE, we can add a sequence number and that finds the appropriate location. So here we have two ACLs. We have access list 10 and we have two permit statements. And what we would be doing is we're going to apply this to the serial 010 interface. And we do that by, again, issuing the IP access TAC group 10. And as it leaves or as it egresses the interface, that's where we want to apply it. That is now going to take that ACL and apply it to that interface and all traffic leaving that interface. Now again, remember that ACLs have an implicit deny at the end. So even though we have two permits, if traffic doesn't match one of those, it will match the implicit deny. So do keep that in mind. So how do you verify? We can verify using two show commands. We can do show run config, pipe in the section we want to look at, access control list, or we can do a show IP interface and we can look at the access lists that are applied to that interface. Let's run through an example completely through a named ACL. So here we remove the numbered ACL and we replace it with a name. So we'll do an IP access list standard, give it a name. We allow whatever remarks we want. We add the permit or the action items. We add the rest of the ones that we need. And then we apply it to an interface. Again, IP access group, permit, access, that's the name, and we have to say either in or out. Here we're processing it as it leaves. How can we verify? We can do show IP, show access list one, show p int serial is another, and again sectioning out the portion that just has access list. That way we can see what content is actually there. Here we have a packet tracer lab giving us configuring a numbered standard IPv4 ACL. We also have another one covering slightly something different. So what happens if you make a mistake and you need to modify it? There are two ways to do this. After an ACL is configured, we may have to modify it. ACLs with multiple ACEs can be complex to configure, so sometimes the configured ACE doesn't yield the appropriate response. So how do we modify it? Either a text editor or a sequence number. Here's the text editor method. What we can do is we can copy the portion of the commands out of the running config, put it in a note document, make the changes, remove whatever you don't want, add the appropriate comments, paste it back into the command terminal, and there your ACL is complete. Or if you cannot copy it out, you can do a sequence numbered method. Basically use the IP access list standard. We would then be able to see the appropriate notations. From there, we could remove lines if necessary. So if we want to remove sequence number 10, we could issue a no 10 command, and that would drop that line. So if we need to modify to go between 10 and 20, for example, we could do 15. 15 would actually fit between 10 and 20. So again, named ACLs like standard ACLs and extended ACLs use sequence numbers to delete and add ACEs. We can always verify with another show access. We can also start seeing counters, what content is matching. These are going to be known as ACL statistics. And that is it for this module. If you got any questions or concerns, please reach out. Thank you.